All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk 23 with Talk Junkies.
TJ.
TJ.
TJ all day.
We got Jay West in the motherfucking house.
Sipping on that sauce. The energy's good tonight, man.
You call that sauce, bro?
It is. It just sounds good coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking the sauce tonight.
It's water from Detroit, man.
Yeah.
The beer.
Is this from Detroit?
No, I don't know. It's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt that, but I'd have to do some background research.
Yeah, you could do that and figure it out and let me know later on.
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on, Jay West? Anything exciting in life going on, man?
Oh man, nothing really. I just bought a 55-inch. I don't even care. I'm gonna give you the manufacturer name and all that, or the make or the model, manufacturer, whatever.
Everything.
LG. So it's a 55-inch LG 4K HGU fucking smart TV. All the bells and whistles, man. I'm surprised confetti didn't pop out of that goddamn box whenever I opened it. I was like, shit. And there's some hustling ass motherfuckers up at Best Buy. Because I went up there and the first thing I said, I was like, look, I've never really bought a nice TV. Like, I've owned maybe 3 TVs in my life, and they're like maybe like $50 fucking just cheap ass fucking TVs, tiny screens, nothing. I don't know the world of fucking nice TVs. But I went into Best Buy and I was like, hey, look, I'm looking for something nice. I was like, here's my budget. I'm like, $400. I want something around the $400 range. I'm willing to go up just a little bit more off that if I have to. I'm like, this is what I want. I want decent picture, and I want to be able to somehow stream the NFL Network or ESPN so I can watch like primetime games on like Thursday and Monday for football. He was like, all right, man, let me show you around. Let me show you the landscape. And he showed me some stuff within my price range, but then just the way that he said it, man, I was like, man, I'm really just not feeling it. He was like, but this is what I recommend, though. And then, like, long story short, after this, like 19-year-old fucking kid fucking hustled my ass, I spent like $700 on a TV with like $300 over my budget. And then I had to get like the protection, like Geek Squad warranty, because I specifically asked them after I already decided on the TV that I wanted. I was like, hey, look, I have a German Shepherd. I was like, I need that fucking insurance that if this guy hops up on the TV because he sees like some sexy ass other German Shepherd on the TV and like breaks it, I was like, I need that. I need to be covered. He was like, I got you. So I probably spent like $750 on this TV. Anyway, I bring it home. I set it up to my Xbox. The Blu-ray player on my Xbox is fucked up. All I can do is play like just video games and DVDs off of it. And I didn't know that apparently normal DVDs on a 4K TV look like shit. So initially I spent over $700, close to $750 on a brand new TV that I can't even watch any of my fucking shit on at all. And I don't have internet at my house. I don't have fucking anything else. So it was a little disappointing. But I just have to step up my game. I need to get internet back up at my house and, all that. But that's really what's new with me. It's a sexy TV, though. It is a sexy TV.
And you deserve a sexy TV.
Everyone deserves a sexy TV.
Welcome to the sexy TV world, man.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, Best Buy, they know how to get you.
Yeah, they do.
$750 for 55 inch isn't too bad, though. That's a pretty solid deal.
After tax and then insurance and all that. So yeah.
If you would have waited just a few more months, man, Black Friday.
I don't want to wait, and I don't like to participate in Black Friday. It seems super chaotic.
Not around these parts of town, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tad bit chaotic, but it's not New York or Chicago or Boston. I mean, it's not the videos you see people trampling over each other.
And I'm just so it's mainly for football, so I didn't want to wait super long, and that's it's pretty late into the midway, not even midway through the football season. But
so, do you think buying this TV does that help you on being able to get a girl?
I don't think girls appreciate technology. Like, if you're trying to get a girlfriend, don't think that the things that you have is what's gonna get her and so much interested into you. First of all, do you even think would you want a girl that's interested in you just because of the material fucking objects that you have? Because honestly, I don't think that's ever really the case, but would you even want that?
Just depends on what part of the country you're from.
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
Because man, if you already got money, you're set. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You'd have the biggest TV, the wallpaper TVs now that they have for like $18,000.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I didn't know.
Oh, the wallpaper TV. It's literally as thin as wallpaper, and it's
fuck?
4K Ultra HD. Yeah.
Not projection.
No, it's wallpaper. Literally, like the plug-in is like it's like this thin. You know, it's obviously for like the electricity part of the TV, and it like plugs into a box, and it's amazing.
What the fuck, man?
If you had that in your house, your odds are you would get a girl, but
I don't know. It all depends, man. Some girls aren't interested in that shit. If you want to get, you want to get
when they
good,
get older,
long term relationship kind of shit, you need to have other things in
hold on,
place.
so let's say you're hitting up Westport constantly, and you're a single man,
mm-hmm.
or wherever you are in the United States, and
mm-hmm.
you're one of those
mm-hmm.
guys who want to find a girl at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they say don't find a girl at a bar, but sometimes it happens like that.
You gotta do your thing, man.
When women get older, they are focused on finding a man who has money and a clean head on his shoulders.
Stability.
Yeah.
I think girls don't want to fucking date a guy who's living at home with his fucking parents. I think that's the biggest one. If there was gonna be some shit where this guy's like, man, I'm having trouble, getting a lady friend, I'm gonna be like, the first question I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna be like, son, do you even have a place to take her after you go out to the Olive Garden, whatever, and you enjoy the unlimited breadsticks and salad and shit? Like, you even got a place to take this beautiful young lady back to? He's like, no, man, I still live upstairs with my parents, and bills are cheap, man. Bills are cheap. No, get your shit together. You have to have your own place.
What if she has her own place?
And then she's an independent woman, and that's fine. But that's even worse.
You can't bank on that either.
See, but that's even worse, because if she has her own place, now that's her standard. Her standard is, fuck, I work hard to keep up with my place. Why would I waste time with somebody who isn't even motivated enough to get their own shit together to where they can have their own basic living scenario paid for?
Some guys have good looks though, and they can pull that card.
You would have to. You're right. Some things compensate for other things. You got to be like Blake Botwinick, fucking hot, to be fucking catching ass fucking in your parents' living room couch, man. Like you're right. You got to be gifted in certain areas, So there are some shit, you can catch, other ways. But for I think that's basic number one though, is you got to have your own place. It doesn't have to be a great place. But you gotta, I think, you just gotta have your own place. It's step one.
Yeah, it increases your chances substantially.
Substantially.
But, I mean, I don't like to go way back into my days, in my prime. It's probably a bad idea. But, man, did I bring a lot of girls home to my parents' house. My parents' house.
Now, that was probably high school years, though, right?
Yeah, and a little after that, too. But I didn't use that as an excuse, man. I still... Dude, I moved out at 17, moved back in around 20, 21, and that was 3 years after.
That's pushing it. So 20, let's just say 21 is pushing it. That's obviously if you're fucking 19, man, you're new blood, man. You're just fresh out of high school and you don't have any other options. And chances are she's right at your age too. So that's a different scenario. I'm talking about.
You're right.
I'm talking about the 21 and older kind of group, early to mid 20s. You really need to go ahead and break down and get that apartment, man.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Step one, get your own place.
Get your own place,
please.
Now, I would say, you could almost tie this in with step 1 too, but you have to have your own car. You have to have your own car. This might actually be a little bit more important than step 1, because you can't ask a girl out on a date and be like, oh, and set it all up and be like, hey, but can you come pick me up though? No, man, no. You got to have your own car, even if it's not a very nice car. Keep it clean. Keep it fucking clean, man.
On the inside, yeah.
On the inside. It doesn't have to be fucking,
Dude, I took women out in a minivan.
Yeah.
I went on dates in a minivan.
You cleaned that shit out before you took her out?
Massage beads, everything. Bro.
Anytime it was like first date kind of scenario, don't get me wrong. Like I've been in a relationship for a while now, and I don't clean out my car to take her out on a date anymore. There's like water bottles and shit. But if it's like first date, trying to set that impression, even if it's not a very nice car, clean that shit out. Throw the little fucking scented green tree up on the fucking, on the rear view, bro.
And you try out some other shit too, like the scent that you put in your where the air
conditioning comes out too.
You try that. They have little Febreze sticks. I mean, but when it ultimately comes down to it, just buy the scented little
scented.
Tree.
Clean it out, man. Yeah, clean it out. Get your license plate, up to date, the way you're not getting pulled over on the way to fucking Olive Garden. Make sure all your shit's legit too. I would say that's, necessary, because nobody, that is real soft dick real quick whenever you got, Deputy Dan, searching the car, on the way to the first date to Olive Garden, after picking up your fly ass lady, So that's step one. Let's just combine the two.
For sure.
You got to have a car. Keep your car clean. That's like sub bullet one, whatever. A after that is keep it clean. Oh, another thing too. If you're like, whether or not clean your house, or even if you are taking her back to your parents' house, clean your fucking room, man.
Oh man.
Clean your fucking room.
And that's
get the stank out. I know, guys. I got nasty feet. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have stinky ass feet. I have to keep at that shit. To make sure my room doesn't smell fucking bad. And you got to keep up on that shit.
Especially
I get sweaty.
If it's your first time and you're living on your own, and this is your first experience on being able to do what we're talking about, like like you have your car, you have the house. Now keep your house clean, especially if you're gonna have a lady friend over. Even if you don't anticipate it, you have to keep it clean at all times, because you never know. Especially if you have roommates, then there's definitely potential for other women to show up.
This should be just a good life in general fucking thing, is keep your house fucking clean. Oh, yeah. This is a sign of responsibility, and once you get in the habit of it, it translates. It's a good keystone habit to fucking have.
But not everyone has that habit. But
you're right.
God forbid, if you're trying to get a woman, at least do the decency and keep your house clean. Like, especially if you're going out at night and you have that thought in your head, like, man, I want to bring a woman back. Keep it clean. Yeah,
because you don't want her to walk in the room and just have her immediately go, wow, it smells and looks like he just aggressively fucking masturbates like every fucking day in here. It smells like it. It looks like it. There's Kleenex all over the place. I can see the bottle of Jergens that's fucking only got a fourth left in it fucking on the floor. Clean that shit up, man. Clean that shit up.
And it's especially worse when he has dry as fuck skin.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, you got dry as fuck skin, all the Jergens is gone. You know exactly what the fuck's happening. Jesus Christ.
So keep your house clean, man.
Keep your house clean.
Now, the hard part, okay, we're talking about easy shit. I mean, not necessarily easy, because it is tough to get your own place in your own car and to keep your house clean. Mm-hmm. But the real hard part is on how to talk to a woman. Obviously, there are a lot of different scenarios. Whether let's say you're under 21. So you're not at a bar, so that, and in my opinion, that makes it a little bit easier. Take her to Starbucks. Don't take her to McDonald's or Taco Bell or anything like that. I like Starbucks. That was one of my hot spots when I was under 21.
No, I like that. Coffee's always good. Caffeine gets the gears turning. Great fucking. You get to tell a little bit about a person, by the way, by how they take their coffee. You can get a general read on it.
If you're under 21, though, I don't think they really know the coffee game that well to get an actual opinion off what coffee.
I guess you're right too. Yeah, no, I can see that as well. But no, coffee date, that's clearly great fucking first date.
Open space, just chill.
Movie's awful.
Yes,
you're wasting your time if you're just taking her to a movie, man.
Movies, 16 and under for movies.
Yeah, if you're over 21 and you're on a first date and you're like, I'm going to take you to a scary movie. I'm going to fucking try to, I'm going to try to cuddle with you a little bit during the movie because you might get scared. Like, no. Kid, have conversation. You need to be in a position to have conversation. Coffee's really good for that. Obviously, dinner too. Coffee works out a lot better just because, that's, coffee helps, with that process.
Never. If you're really trying to get a girl, don't bring a friend. Do not bring a friend.
Is that even a fucking?
Well, let's say she has a friend and they want to do a double date. I say don't even do that.
No,
you need that one. You need one-on-one.
That's not even a date. You're just hanging out.
Yeah.
You're just hanging out at that point.
Yeah, it's a party at that point, right? Two's a party or three?
Is that like a saying?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, just do it one-on-one.
Yeah. One-on-one is always good, and you need to learn how to fake confidence. Because chances are, if you're taking any kind of information from the past, 10 minutes that we've been talking about, it's because you have a lack of confidence. If you're, jotting down notes and shit, you need to learn how to fake some confidence. And there's actually some ways to do this. There are some ways to fake confidence, even though you're not feeling very confident. You got to set yourself up, and this is really important too. Confidence. Girls do not like nervous as fuck guys. Girls like confident guys that establish themselves as, hey, this is me. I'm confident about me. Here I am. Just picture Rob Gronkowski. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. God damn it, I brought up some football. I just picture him being very confident on any dates. But there are ways to fake confidence, like eye contact. If you can, don't be breaking away fucking eye contact. The first thing that somebody can tell about somebody not being confident is the lack of eye contact in conversation. You got to maintain eye contact with this female pretty much throughout. Whenever she's talking, be looking at her in her eyes. Kind of shit. That's a sign of confidence. Whenever you speak, make sure you are attempting to make eye contact with her, kind of thing. There's body language kind of shit. Don't be slumped over. Raise yourself up. Broad chest, scapular retraction. Stuff like that. There's ways to just focus on body language. That brings in confidence. And another thing too, make sure you are dressed well. Appropriate for the shit. Don't come in like Step Brothers style. Like Will Ferrell, where you're wearing a fucking tuxedo and you fucking overdo it. I know it's an exaggeration, but you got to make sure that you look nice too. That also just helps with personal confidence. So would we say that that's number 2 is confidence?
Confidence is huge. That's really huge actually, and it's probably more prevalent than 1. Because if you have confidence, I think you could probably get any girl you really wanted to.
You're right. You can get your dick sucked back behind a dumpster if you're confident enough.
Yeah. And I think, for sure. And being confident goes hand in hand with just being yourself, too. I mean, if you have issues with being confident, then, don't be yourself. Try and be confident. But I don't really have... I've always been myself. Whenever I grew up and I was definitely in the dating game and I was doing that kind of stuff, I was just always myself. And maybe I'm a confident person. I would say I am when it came to talking to women. But
you Rob Gronkowski confident?
Yes, dude. Oh fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. There you go.
I was never. I'm not scared. If I'm interested in someone, I made it very, very obvious.
Yeah. And I will say this too. Actually, if you feel super nervous around somebody,
that's okay.
Chances are, that's okay too. But you might also need to rethink some shit, because you really shouldn't. If you're super nervous, you're not going to be, everybody's fucking nervous at some point on a first date. I don't give a fuck who you are. There's going to be some level of nervousness to it. But if you are extremely fucking nervous, maybe this fucking person isn't right for you, because maybe you need to, you should not be just shaking fucking all kinds of shit. You got to fucking take 3 shots of fucking, vodka before you fucking, go out on the date just to calm the nerves and shit. You shouldn't. You need to be wary of that too, because there's an old fucking Hindu saying that was, the person that you're meant to be with shouldn't have butterflies and shit. Whenever you first met them, it should be somebody that is just, you just feel natural being around, kind of thing, to where you really can be yourself, and that confidence fucking naturally comes out because it just feels like this natural fucking flow with that individual. And I'm not saying go out there and fucking take risks, and if you're fucking nervous about the date, not to fucking, follow through with it or anything like that. I'm just saying a little bit of wisdom that you may be able to apply when searching for a more long-term kind of thing. Is somebody that you really feel natural being around,
Yeah, be natural. I think that's a really good way to look into it. Because there are a lot of fake bitches out there. There are a lot of fake dudes out there. And I can't think of a negative word. I mean, douches, sorry. Douches and bitches, whatever, if you want to go that route. There are a lot of those people out there. And you're going to meet those people, and you're going to find those people, and you'll learn real quick who those people are. And that's another thing about whenever you're really trying to find a girl. You're going to meet a lot of different girls. Don't just settle for the first one unless it's absolutely love, which that does rarely happen. But don't.
It does happen. Yeah, seldomly.
You're going to go out on multiple dates. You're going to go out with different women and enjoy it. Respect the process.
And you should. And it really is a process, and it's not so much. You should never look at like a heartbreak. Like, let's say even like a long-term relationship or something like that, and you're heartbroken and you're devastated. You should never allow that to regress you as a person. What those kind of experiences, what you need to allow them to do is after the relationship's over and you've mourned because it's heartbreaking no matter whether it was more her or you, is you need to take a step back after you've gone through that period and you need to be like, okay, what the fuck did I do wrong here? What did I not like in them? What did I really not like that they brought out in me? And you really sit down and process that information and then learn from it and then go into the next relationship having all that information that you've gathered about yourself and what you want in another girl and then refine it and then become better at the whole process, kind of thing. Like, it should be a learning experience, all those heartbreaks and, and just like little short-term relationships or even like just dating somebody for a night, like, reevaluate it. Be like, oh shit, man, that date fucking went horrible. I fucking shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that, which you can't like read too much into it too, but there's always a chance to learn, because we're making mistakes constantly, and that's where we learn to better ourselves and stuff like that. So I'll also put that in there too.
Yeah, so just get a car, have your own place, more importantly, have confidence, and don't always just settle for the first person. I know those seem like very just like vague ways to look at how to find a chick, but if you do those things, I guarantee you it increases your chances of finding a chick.
And sometimes you like the guys that fail are the guys that just don't ever fucking take the risk. You gotta take the initial risk too. You can say this for girls or guys or anything. Like, if you're interested in somebody, fucking ask him to hang out with you. Just don't be creepy about it.
No matter how hard it is, yeah.
Yeah, just don't be creepy about it. Like, you just gotta be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, shoot the shit. And if it has to be in a more social scenario to where there's like, maybe you and a couple other people to where you become more acclimated before you actually go for that first date kind of thing, where, but you have to, just spend more time around them, somehow. You just got to take the risk. And there's, other ways to go about it, but.
Well, without risk, you're not even going to put yourself out there. I mean, because there are hundreds, if not thousands of guys putting risk out there at any given time.
Yep.
So that's a big one.
Yeah, you got to take that jump, man, that leap.
Mm-hmm.
Take that leap of faith, especially if you're really into her, and you know she's just intelligent, smart, funny, just confident, and all that. You know there are other dudes. You gotta understand, like if she's a fucking 10, and you can't be, you can't wait around too long, man. You gotta take the risk, take the leap, and if anything, if it doesn't even go well. But if you handle the date well and you're a gentleman and you're polite and you're kind and you're not pressuring in any kind of way,
she's going to tell her friends.
She's going to fucking tell her probably hot-ass fucking friends, too, that are probably really good people as well. And there's just opens up opportunity. Thank you, Paul. There you go. There's all kinds of shit. This is another thing. I'm going to say this is fucking huge. Be a fucking gentleman. If you cannot be a gentleman, and I'm a little old school, and I was going to ask you this earlier about as far as the bill, how the bill should go on a first date.
That's easy. The man takes care of the bill.
That's how I feel too. But
opens the door, opens the car door, closes the car door.
That's how I was raised. That's how I've always gone about it. But I've heard things against it. This is how I've always done it. And and I'm fine if she's vocal about it and she's like, hey, I'd feel comfortable, if we went Dutch on this. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm the man, I gotta pay for it. No, you don't do that. You feel it. But if nothing's said to where, if you're the guy, and especially if you instigated the whole thing to where you're like, hey, let me take you out, you pay for the bill. You pay for the bill. You're a gentleman. You kind. Be an attentive listener. Just all the attributes that come from being a gentleman.
And
basically,
every woman's different. And that's the thing. You have to sit back and get a feel for it. And once you go on multiple dates, you get that feel for. I'm not saying everyone's the same, but at one point you get really good at reading people if you date enough. So
what's a good first date restaurant? That's affordable. That's affordable that you think is a legit spot.
Who cares, man?
You don't think it matters?
No, not at all. You ask her what she likes. I mean, if if you pick her up and you're like, hey, where do you want to go? Maybe you could be the man and say, hey, this is where we're going. But I mean, if you're going to take her on a date, you've obviously already texted and you've been talking to each other and you probably already agreed on somewhere to go. What do you like to eat? Find out what she likes to eat and then go there, So that's what I would do. I would figure out what she likes to eat and that's where I'd take her. If not, I would take her somewhere exquisite. Not too exquisite, but
no, because
nice.
You don't want to set the standard too high either.
No, definitely
don't fucking set the standard too high on a fucking first date.
I would
try to be as real as possible. Be good about shit.
If it wasn't something we already talked about, it would be somewhere that is delicious. Whenever you open your mouth and you put food in it, it tastes good. That's where I would take her.
That's important.
Yeah,
that is important.
Hey, so hopefully anyone listening.
So no fast food.
No, definitely no fast food.
So just basically no fucking fast food.
Yeah. Hopefully, whoever listened to this, if this helps you in any way, shape, or form, please let us know. I would really like to know. But we need to move on here a little bit.
We getting serious with it?
Yeah, we're getting serious with it, man. This is my favorite part.
Fuck yeah. Let's get on it. Let's get on it.
Let's hit do you think debt is modern slavery for for the United States?
Absolutely. Absolutely, debt is modern slavery. But the difference is you kind of have the position to decide, your level of spending in the scenarios that you get into as far as debt comes. But debt is very much a form of slavery. And it's not like super like slavery is a very I know the ideas and that are attached to that word specifically, and that is a very dark and intense word, and I want to make sure that it's being it comes off right, because slavery is pretty much you have no decision. You're forced, to do this thing.
But could they be so good where they're just so smooth with how they talk that sorry, I'm just gonna put it to perspective for you. The average household is $137,000 in debt.
What what is it like a household? Like you're just talking about a family, like average family size,
including mortgage, right?
How much?
$137,000. That's 350 million Americans. The average person per credit card is $5,000 in debt. The student loans in 2016, as a country, $1.49 trillion in debt. New cars, like people who buy new cars and get loans for cars and houses combined, just the auto debt was $1.1 trillion in 2018. So people buying new cars and shit like that, that's insane.
I think no, that is insane. There is a lot of debt.
These people or whoever is in charge, they legitimately they are so smooth in the way that they have made America to where they make people think that they need these things, and now we have them, and it's so expensive. I'm living in this house right now. I'm in that first statistic I talked about. Granted, probably, but this house, I'm $108,000 in debt. It's good debt, in my opinion.
It is. Because a house is an initial investment. And that's what I would say about that. Like the house will end up making you, if you're smart about it, and you got to play your cards right with some certain shit whenever it comes to, mortgages. Like this can be a profitable debt.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of things that can be profitable debt too. I mean, you could even call college, which what I really wanted to get down to was the whole student loan thing, which I think is really, if you were to talk about like a societal, almost kind of like now you're a slave, to the system kind of thing, is more so the college aspect of that, because college is so expensive and people get into so much debt to have such a minimal job. And then you see all kinds of shit that people, attempt to pay off, their loan, and then they still owe pretty much the same amount after like 5, 6, 7 years of attempting to pay it off, to where it's somebody making profit off of you in
a lot
in a negative way, negative way. But the house you'll end up owning, that's like a retirement kind of thing. There's equity.
Kind of, but like the amount of interest that you pay on it, you end up paying double the house. I mean, over a 30-year note, I will pay double what I got the mortgage for. I'll end up paying like around $230,000 for the house.
So in the sense of slavery, that somebody else is benefiting from you in an
paying
unfair way,
yeah,
in an
sure.
unfair way. So
how is it fair in any way, shape, or form that I choose to live here for 30 years? and this house is gonna. I mean, I got it for $115. It's gonna cost me $230. They're punishing you for making the minimum payments for 30 years, so we're gonna charge you double. And those people continuously how does that even make sense? Where did we go wrong where they said that this was okay?
That's interesting. Like, well, if you look back, like, whenever I think that they were, like, doing it right, like, you look at somebody in, like, the 1950s, right, who bought a house. Like, I'm just going to pull some numbers, but I've heard all kinds of stuff like this to where they bought the house for, like, $15 or $20,000, you know, at, like, our age, basically. And then at the age of, like, 70, whenever they're retiring or, you know, they're coming to the tail end of their life and they're, you know, in a different scenario and have to sell the house, it's worth, like, $600,000.
That's still risk, though.
You know?
You're risking the city you live in.
Do you think you'll ever see that kind of increase? Like,
yeah, for sure. My fiance's parents, they bought a house in Southern Overland Park for $150,000, and 20 years later, it's worth like $350,000 to $400,000.
I guess it all depends on how the market's at too.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't really have a definitive answer.
Other than it is modern slavery. Because if you lose your job, you're done. You lose it. And then you're even in a worse off place than you were whenever you were paying payments on it in the first place.
Yes, but I still just it is. I just the word slavery I think is just tied to
think about it like
so much a lot.
It's easy for me to say this because I have a kid now. But you have a kid, you have a house, you have a job now that you make decent money in. I cannot go away from that job. If I go away from that job, then I'm risking what my family has.
You're fucked, right?
And in a sense, that is a form of slavery. Granted, do I have the option to change that? Of course, 100%. Is it easier said than done?
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
It takes an extreme amount of work.
Right.
So should people? So this comes down to like an interest thing. Like, where does the interest go? You know, so you're paying people to just pretty much use their money, and that money is just, you know, just a number somewhere. And but it ends up being your time.
That's the most important part. Just a number somewhere.
And it ends up translating to, though, it ends up being your time and, you know, directional shit in life that you decide to take based on these things. But it is just a number somewhere. So somebody with, you know, $1 billion can just decide to loan all that out, and that's just a number somewhere. And then all of a sudden now everybody's working to make up for, you know, the money that they pieced out. And then all of a sudden that person gets to live for free, basically, because of the interest that comes back that they can have off of. Which interest used to be like worthwhile, like just for the average person. Like, if we were in like the 1950s and we had, man, I really wish Trey was here for this particular conversation, because and we're missing Trey tonight, by the way. He's in trouble. Not in a bad way. He's alive. He's well. He's healthy. And shout out to T baby. We miss you at Talk Junkies tonight. But I feel like he would be really good with this one, because he'd probably be able to give us some more accurate numbers. But like looking at the 1950s, just having a savings account where you could, you know, take advantage of having a bank have your money and then loan it out, and you'd make a decent amount of interest back on that. That's not the case anymore.
No.
I almost have trouble saying financially like where I'm at, but it's literally laughable right now. The amount of money that you can have in the bank, hard-earned savings. You've done financially well to where, you know, you've worked hard to build a savings account, a respectable savings account over a couple of years. What you make in interest is literally laughable. It is laughable in comparison to what was happening like 50 years ago.
Yeah, no
for the average person. For the average person, we don't have any advantage anymore from having our money just sit in a bank. Like, so that's a little frustrating.
And you should. Like, having a bank be a part of your life, like, it's a part of your life. You go to that bank, you put the money that you work for in that bank. So what is it that the bank can do for you? Well, if you, for one, don't have good credit, do not go to a bank that is not a credit union, because if you do that, then they will give you absolutely nothing. Credit union actually trusts you a little bit, and they'll give you a little bit of something, you know. They'll give you the chance to establish credit, you know. But I mean, what's the incentive to have a bank now? There's none. There's zero, zilch, nada.
Just for transactions.
Yeah, for transactions.
That's how
it.
I pay my rent.
And
I pay my rent because I don't write, or I don't hand them cash.
Right. And you could if you wanted to.
Dude, I didn't have a bank account till like I was 24, man. I kid you not. I cashed my checks at Walmart.
I did too.
Everything was cash. Everything was cash back when I was 24. But up until you realize that you can't, that you have to have a bank to establish any kind of credit. You can't have credit whenever you're paying fucking cash for fucking everything. This shit has to be on record. And you're not going to be able to have any kind of, decent loan or progress.
And that's another part of it.
So you have to use those institutions.
That's another part of it.
It's a forced institution.
It is. It's slavery, man. Because if you don't, unless you're just magically a millionaire for something that you're an entrepreneur for or whatever, you can't get a house. You can't get a car. You can't. Absolutely not. Because you can't
get a nice car. Yeah. You can pay in cash. You can pay in cash for it. But realistically, like if you want to,
you have to play.
You can be responsible. Yeah. You got to. Did you say you got to play?
Yeah.
You do. You got to play the fucking game. You got to play the fucking game.
And if you don't, you're fucked.
You.
Unless you're really
very small percentile isn't fucked and could get away with it. But for the most part, if you want to progress in the society, you do have to have. You have to deal with those institutions.
How long did it take you to realize, like, man, I need credit?
24.
24?
Yeah, I was fuck, man.
I was 27, 24. Man. I literally was living day by day as a server, just like, oh, fuck it, man. I want to drink every single day, smoke so many cigs to where I'm just cool as fuck, And then here I am at 27. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy a house. I want to buy a house. I can afford a house. Of course I can afford a house being a server. Nah, playa. You owe taxes, man. You owe $800 to Kansas. You can't get no house. What? I can't get a house because I owe $800 in taxes to Kansas, and my credit's not that good. You can't get a house.
Yep.
Unless you have like $20,000 down payment.
You got to play their game because think about it. They're all, even though they're competitors, they are competitors to some point about where who is getting your money, and whose money is being lent to you and things like this. But they're really all out playing the same game to where like, hey, we just can't let somebody take advantage. We got to make sure that this is the standard, and the standard is the credit scores now, and you have to establish it. And the only way to establish it, you got to go to a fucking bank, and you got to have a credit card, and you got to have your name on papers, and you have to be involved in the system. So I guess to an extent, you have to, and you could call it slavery. What you're calling it is slavery, is you have to be a part of this. And it's forced because there's no real way to ever progress.
For the average person, no.
For the average person, there's no way to progress unless you're playing that game, which is the credit score,
and I
bank account.
It. I mean, they got their hands tied because way back in the day, there was a point in time where they let anyone and everyone have a house, and it fucking came back to bite them in the ass. And some people say they did that on purpose. I don't know. I wasn't there. Whatever. Regardless, if they did that to force us into being part of their game, they fucking won. They won big time.
Think about it like back in the day. Was it like back in the day? Like you can go to your bank and it was like a small town and everybody knew each other, and the person who was deciding the loan knew that person personally, and now they can have personal judgment to whenever they would say, hey, I need this loan. They were like, man, Jim, I've known your family. Your grandfather was a great person. Your father was a great person. You're a great person up and coming. You're trying to establish, yourself for your family. I understand that, your income's not that good, but I know you. I know your values, and I'm gonna get you the money, and I'm gonna work with you, kind of fucking thing. Like, was it like that back in the day?
It had to
where it came to like personal, like just.
I don't think
your character came down to it, because technically, that's what a credit score is they're trying to establish your character as a person. Like, are you an adult? Do you fucking pay your shit, basically? Are you responsible? Those are characteristics that is now shown through a number, through, dear Lord, a very complex algorithm that's fucking that makes up the Equifax, TransUnion, and I don't even know what the fucking third one is.
Well, I'd rather have that system than the credit system we have now, because my word, like, and who I am as a person, that goes a long way. I've been denied for hellish shit, bro, because I made some poor decisions off a $200 credit card when I was 18. $200. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I understand. Like, I need to prove myself, but $200 credit card.
I was
$200 total, and you're gonna fuck me for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, of course. Fuck that. Of course. See, my parents. I listened to my parents, and I was lazy. I was lazy too. That they told me, don't get a fucking credit card. They like looked at me like deep into my eyes, and they were like, Jesse, we know you. Do not get a credit card. Like, this is like 21-year-old Jesse. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, you know, I'd probably, fuck up with it. But after 24, I was really smart, and it was difficult because I had no credit. Like, I had to pay $100. I had to pay $100 safety deposit just to get a $500 like balanced like max whatever credit $500 credit limit credit card. I had to put $100 down, and then like the interest rate was insane. Like I went out if I went over the monthly payment just to like have this like baseline credit established over a year, and I only used it for like gas and just like basic shit, and just paid it off like pretty much the day of, because now I'm like frightened of the system. Like I'm like, oh man, now I'm wise to the whole thing, and I realize how much it can either it can destroy you. Like it literally can destroy you. Yes. Like if you file for bankruptcy, like if you really fuck up and file for bankruptcy, oh my god, you're done
for 7 years.
You're done
for 7 years.
No house, no you. Enjoy apartments and ramen noodles, I guess, or unless I'm sure there are people who've come back from bankruptcy, but no, that's huge. You play by you got to play by the rules, So yeah.
This is crazy, man. It's a crazy game, man. It really is. And I don't know if I really want to be a part of it, but I am, and that's just how it's gonna go. And that's just the way it is, man. As Tupac says.
Yeah, it's the game that's you got to play, And
it goes hand in hand with technology, because technology rules what we currently call life. And my question is, do you think, what is the end game for technology?
The end game. I remember whenever we were first talking about like the bullet points of what we're gonna go over tonight. This was end game, like, and I asked you if it was pinnacle, like what's the max technology could be, or to where all of a sudden technology is now completely changed everything to the point to where now you have redefined everything, kind of thing.
Well, let's start off. Is it beneficial, technology?
Of course.
To what extent is it beneficial?
Exactly. That's the real thing right there, right? There are so many things that are good. And you can take something good and take it too far, and then it become a bad thing, or a bad thing in depending on who's viewing it, as being a bad thing, depending on how it's influenced. Like what happens when technology goes so far as to where it's influencing humans in a way to where they're making like decisions based on what AI is like telling us, or like some shit, to where AI is in control, to where we have a computer program that is like, this is the best way to do things, and it's done the analysis.
It's definitely getting there. I feel like that's how people hire people now, is based off AI programs. They make you take these tests, right? Like personality tests, and then they put it into some sort of algorithm, and yeah, and then you get a score, and then whenever you're in the interview, they say, hey, this is your score. I scored this, and you scored this. I'm probably not going to hire you because your score was way lower based on your personality test.
In some sense, that can be beneficial to.
Well, yeah.
But you never really, you got to, like within a hiring process, it's always better to know the person and their their true characteristics. You really don't ever know somebody until you spend enough time with them, and you still don't know them even at that point. To say that you can just have them sit down and take a test, and then an algorithm computes it, and then it has broken down levels of their attributes are here, and this is where they really need to be, and then this isn't a good candidate. I don't know. Like it should be supplemental. It shouldn't be, the decision shouldn't be based strictly off that. It should be a supplemental kind of thing. And maybe that's where I'm coming to when it comes to technology, is technology should be just supplemental. Not so much relied on.
Do we need technology to progress?
We progress in technology is kind of the fruit of that. It shouldn't be now technology is progressing us kind of thing.
You don't think we're there? Where technology is progressing us?
Oh, of course we're there. Yeah, no, technology is technology is already like ahead of us. Like,
so how far do we go?
I mean, there is no ceiling with
That's
technology.
Scary as fuck.
It is scary. It's a frightening thing. It's horribly frightening because you talk about something that, you know, used to be just some sci-fi fiction written by, you know, Orwell, you know, and then you're just like, man, this is really interesting. This could never happen though. Like back in the 50s or whatever, whenever he wrote like 1985. But now we're like, holy fuck, this is right here. It's happening. Like dystopian,
fast,
very fast, and it's a tangible thing. Like you can see it. I mean, it's everywhere. Everybody's on their smartphone now. So how much, you know, we have that now, just basic integration to where technology is a part of us now. Like I will always have my phone with me, so now there's always a piece of tech with me, like wherever I go, kind of thing. That's now, I don't have to rely on my mind so much. I just go to I go to my little mini computer and I can look shit up, which is fine too. It should be supplemental, but it's scary because how much eventually is that going to start overtaking me? Because right now it could be 98% me and like 2% my phone. You know, eventually, how much more will it eventually be like, oh, and now it's, you know, 15% technology and then 85% me. And then, you know, how much is that eventually? Because you will see that transition because technology is better than us. Like you can't deny it. Technology, it's faster at computing. It does everything, you know, it's right there, you know. It's scary.
It's got to be a time and place where I could just walk away from it. And I don't think I'm anywhere close to it. Growing up without a cell phone was beautiful. I was way more involved with nature at that point in my life, and granted, I was young.
But social interaction, playing fucking, you know, football out on the street, basketball, skateboards, you know, yeah.
And now it's just completely opposite. And losing my phone or breaking my phone, like if I'm sitting down and I've had my phone fall out of my pocket, my screen breaks, and I'm somewhat depressed, and that's just frustrating to me. But I'm not like extremely depressed, but I'm somewhat depressed. Not maybe mad, you know. But I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Is it the addiction aspect or the fact that it cost you money?
It's the addiction aspect.
Because that's where it becomes the problem. Is if you're like, man, I spent a lot of money on this, it's the money aspect and it's broke and I can do without it. But if it all of a sudden is, holy fuck, I'm losing a source of something that, you know, has great importance to me, you know, then that's what it's become. And I think a lot of the, you know, even all socializing happening over technology now through like social media and everything has completely changed the landscape.
And I try and stay away from social media, man.
I do too. Yeah, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's completely technology at its forefront is definitely social media with Facebook and shit. And I've been doing so well probably the past year and a half, 2 years without using Facebook. I don't use it. And I love the fact that I don't use it, but every once in a while I'll catch myself on it, just scrolling and scrolling. Because you do find some cool videos, and I love watching videos. Mm-hmm. But that's another aspect of technology that rules my life is watching YouTube videos. But I love the fact that I'm not dedicated to Facebook or involved in Facebook. I don't know what that means, but
I don't think we should have the human, because I don't think we're able to like catch up. Like we're still on this level to where we need to interact physically with other, like we're literally, this is how we are. Like we read people. Like the whole eye contact thing, body language.
It's getting minimal by the day, though.
Yeah, I know. And it's making people inept to interacting socially, just on a human to human like level, to where if you have trouble talking to somebody, but you're all over the fucking internet doing things, it's probably a problem. You need to go out and have, you know, normal interaction with people. Do you think like people should have like, man, we've gone over social media so many times. Do you think people have like their kids have like Facebook like at a super young age, like at like 6, they make a Facebook, you know, page for like their kid and stuff like that? Do you think that's
And I always said, whenever I have a kid, I'm not going to let him use an iPhone or a cell phone or anything like that. But then whenever you have a kid and you realize that those pieces of technology distract them and they're less likely to cry if they have a phone in their hand and shit like that, it changes it. It changes it.
But it's also, now it's part of our future, though.
Yeah.
And you can't neglect your kid at the same time from technology because it's so important to understand technology.
Right.
So there's this whole, man, that's rough.
It is.
The whole scenario is rough.
You can't wait till they're 10 years old now, because if you wait that long, then they're that far behind.
Yep. And you don't want to do that either. So yeah, no, it's a weird scenario.
Another trippy way for me to look at technology, and I love just ancient shit, right? I think that there's a possibility that there was an ancient technology that we don't know about. And I think that technology has been on this earth, maybe not necessarily in the way that it is now. I think that it's a possibility that maybe it was. Do you think that there was some sort of ancient technology similar to what we have now, 12,000 years ago?
Not when it comes to like the social media aspect and being able to have access to information. I think it was for more building tools, especially because you can see that just from like the ruins that were left behind from ancient civilizations, that you're like, you can't just do this with like some fucking copper tools and shit, that there was some shit there. I don't think it was so much on our level to where it's mainly entertainment. It's an entertainment thing, is really like, even like pretty much that's all we use technology for is for entertainment. Maybe a little bit of
but if they had some sort of technology, I mean, they had something, right?
They did have something.
So if you had technology to build pyramids everywhere in the world, I don't care who the fuck you are, they were built everywhere in the world at right around the same time.
Yes.
Why would they not use that for entertainment? You're telling me you didn't have pharaohs or kings saying, man, we got this technology to build this badass shit, we're not going to use it for technology? They had to have, man.
Or they're not going to use it for entertainment. Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You think that there would have been evidence of that? Like, you can.
There was evidence of in Roman times where they had sports and shit.
Like electrical technology, like used for entertainment. Like that's what I'm getting down to.
Yeah,
like,
they definitely
it's like having a screen in front of your face. Kind
they
of thing.
didn't have flat screen TVs. You're right.
But I mean, fuck, if they had like lasers to fucking.
They had to have something, man.
I know it's. Dude, I get that's what you're saying, and that's just weird because
they were building pyramids right around the same time as each other in the same part. I mean, different parts of the world. They had to have been able to communicate somehow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a possibility too. But yeah, I just don't know if it's something. It's probably not what we have right now. I think that whatever was going on was much more like society advancement driven when it came to the like infrastructure kind of things, like mainly building of stuff. So when it comes that whole area is so confusing. There's so much mystery involved.
There's a lot of mystery, but just talking about it makes it seem like to me, and you just made a good point. I think that they were more focused on maybe like shooting for the stars as opposed to we are. Because a lot of the things that they do, especially with the pyramids of Giza and stuff like that, they align with the stars. There's a lot of sun watching and just like light and stuff like that. I think that they were more involved with the universe than we are now.
So you think that they had the actual appropriate amount of supplemental technology to where they're like, this should not be used for entertainment kind of thing. This should be used just for building. It should not be an AI with algorithms,
right?
That's attempting to think, what this person wants to buy, kind of thing. So we need to infiltrate the human mind right now.
Yeah, I don't
get
think
the hive collective.
They weren't really focused on clothes or a TV or anything. They were more maybe what I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they ended up on Earth from Mars, whatever. This is all speculation, and maybe they were trying to get back, or maybe they were maybe somehow they ended up here. Mm-hmm. They're like, fuck, we need to get back out there. And that's what they were focused on, and that's what they did. Because they did something, man. They were building pyramids, and they were fucking these massive structures, and all of it, if you do any amount of research on anything that's ancient technology, it all adds up to the stars, man. Hieroglyphs.
Yep.
I mean, with spaceships and shit like that, and UFOs, and anything and everything, it equals up to the stars. The fucking Anunnaki. I mean, you have that great
it's very connected.
depiction
it
of
is
the
very
9
connected.
planets.
The the most important thing to every ancient civilization was their connection to the stars in some way, whether or not they translated it to gods or whatever. It was their connection to the heavens, everything, stars, constellations, all that. Nobody who thought that they just have to ask some shit fucking had that kind of detailed calendar, type systems of the stars, and could even predict fucking weather and shit back then. And even like farmers' almanacs and shit like that, like, back in like the early 1900s. Like, how the fuck were you accurate with that shit? You're just writing shit down, like, just from, like the universe and shit. Like, man, that still blows my mind. But
that is, yeah, it blows my mind too. So
I guess the big thing is, and it is weird hearing Elon Musk talk about this on the Joe Rogan Experience, about how it's already too late. He was, and I'm pretty sure he said this, like, I'm going to paraphrase it, but he was like, yeah, it's too late. Like, we've already crossed the line. Like, it's already in motion of these separate AI that is completely outside of us, that can advance so fucking quick. They can get 1,000 years of development in a matter of minutes.
It doesn't have
kind
to
of
be,
fucking
though.
Thing.
It is, but it doesn't have to be.
And you could attempt to put a stop to it, but there's going to be somebody that fucking does it. Like, it's all too separated. Like, somebody's going to fucking do it. Somebody's going to have super hyper fucking AI shit that's literally is creating algorithms that we wouldn't be able to fucking develop in 300 years of mathematicians developing off of each other, and it's going to fucking, it's going to outdo us. You're literally creating something that's so vastly superior that it's no longer science fiction. I think it legitimately, you got to be fucking scared of it.
The sad part about it is we've left nothing that will stand for 12,000 years. Maybe a few objects, but not many. 10,000 years, sorry. I mean, that's how far back.
No, nothing. Because nothing. We don't, yeah.
All buildings, all the tallest buildings in the world, they would all fall, crumble, and be gone and deteriorate. Yeah,
that's another big thing too. Like, the materials that they made their shit out of, like the pyramids, will probably outlast fucking even the shit that we have in our society. Yeah. Just the way that things are built. But
some stadiums would last quite a while because a lot of them are made out of cement and stuff. But earthquakes and
you'd see remnants, yeah.
And remnants of utility bills, man. I get remnants of just these massive amounts of money in the mail saying, hey, you owe me this much because you've used this amount of water, okay? This is what confuses me. And recently I've started to think this. So I'm in the shower, right? And I'm taking a shower, and I know you take showers, and probably everyone in the United States, for the most part, takes showers.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, a lot of this water that I'm using, where is it going, right? It's getting recycled. And It's getting reused. Why do we not get some sort of recycling, like, cutback? Why would we, not even, it's drinking water or your faucet water, anything except the toilet, because you put feces, you put pee in the toilet, right? And yes, you could be dirty, you're in the shower, but what I'm saying is you should get some sort of, like, credit for recycled water. Why do you not get a credit? Like, yes, whenever you turn the faucet on and you're about to take a shower, you're using that water. It's all coming out. It's clean water. It's 100%. But that water is recycled. So why would you not get a credit for the water that goes back into the drain and back into the system?
That doesn't... Probably because they'd have to put in a different system. Probably because it all mixes in the end. Like, probably your shower water and, like, your shit toilet water probably gets mixed in your septic tank, I would assume.
We don't have septic tanks. It goes into the sewer, and it goes back into the water system.
But then they'd have to implement an entire system where they'd have to keep shower water separate from that,
What I'm saying is that you should get some sort of credit, man. You're not using that water. I mean, yes, you are initially using it, but it's getting put back into the system. And to what extent, I need to look into and find out. Because if it's literally going back into the system and it's getting reused, you should get a credit for that. 100%.
It's not so much, like, if you're going to talk about utilities, it's not so much water for me. And I can understand a little bit where you're coming from. That, like, loosely put, I'm in the same book with you, just not on the same page. Kind of thing with that one.
How so?
It's just, well, it makes sense. the water bill charge seems very, very much like I understand the water bill, and the fact that I shouldn't, necessarily get a credit back depending on if I'm using shower water more than like toilet water, because toilet water is going to be harder to fucking filter. Or
you wouldn't get credit for toilet water.
And that's what I'm saying, because at some point then you'd have to keep them separate, and that's even more complicated. You're doubling.
It wouldn't be that complicated.
I think it sounds fairly complicated. Me, just personally, I can understand a little bit where you're coming from, or like even the bullshit like you can't use fucking rainwater. Like you can't just go collect rainwater and fucking use it for yourself, and you would get fined by the city because somehow it's the city's water that's coming out of the clouds, right? I hope we're probably gonna get flagged for this one. Well, no, like some government shit.
No, there are some cities now that are actually saying it's okay.
And that I feel like that should be able to be utilized for you, if you just put out some shit.
Especially if you're in a drought-driven city. Like, hey, you can't collect rainwater.
But that's probably where they're like, you can't collect rainwater, is drought-driven cities.
So they can make more money?
Yes. That's probably where they hit it the most, because it's a scarcity. But if you really want to get into like a utilities thing for me, like electricity or like even gas, like why is gas a thing? Why can't you just refine it to electricity? Like, why do we need gas to heat our houses?
It's true.
Why can't you just use electricity to heat your house?
Because then you're like, yeah.
Because you can get electricity from the sun, from windmills, from rivers. You can generate electricity all sorts of different ways. There's really only one place you can get gas from. It's a very specific fucking thing you get gas from. Like, why is gas, like what is it, your stove, and then how you heat your house, right? Is normally where you get your gas from. Some people have gas dryers. It's fucking weird.
It's very weird.
Like, what the fuck is up with that? Like, why can't it all just be electric? Like, why the fuck do we need gas? Like,
yeah, you have all electric houses without any gas at all.
Without gas, but it's still, so it's old technology.
Which America has a hard way of getting itself out of situations like that. You have people who have a lot of money invested into gas or infrastructure, and that's why we don't progress.
Because it's two sources of energy, because technically you could use gas for everything too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a burnable thing, which can, you could translate that into electricity too, I'm sure in some way, but that'd be that's what our shit's doing anyway. But I don't understand why it's just refined. Just refine it to electricity and then fucking do a very earth-friendly way of coming up with the electric source of energy. The gas should not be a thing. So you're talking about utilities, not so much water for me. I'm like, why the fuck is gas a thing? Because you have two sources, like source for gas, source for electricity. Fucking refine it. Just have it fucking electricity right now and come up with a really smart, affordable fucking way. I'm all about geothermal energy. I remember in what was it? Zeitgeist Addendum. Man, the Zeitgeist fucking opened my eyes, man.
It did.
It really did.
It did.
I remember, I couldn't even remember. Was I the one that showed you Zeitgeist for the first time?
You were, yeah.
And dude, I was like, I gotta show you some shit. And I was completely exaggerated it. But it was honestly how I saw it. I didn't realize that. I thought it was like some super underground, like nobody fucking knew about it. I didn't know that there were like billboards out in California that was promoting, what's his name? Joseph Peter. Joseph Peter is the guy that did the whole Zeitgeist thing, which props to fucking him. He's still my man. He opened up my eyes to a lot of things. If it wasn't for the original Zeitgeist documentary, that was like my first like realizing, man, there's alternative possibilities for the things society's told me about. So shout out to that. I don't want to get too much into that, but as far as I heard about geothermal energy and alternative energy sources mainly through, I think, the second one, which is called Zeitgeist Addendum, where they sat down with I don't know if he was a social engineer or something like that, but he started talking about, and this might even be a little bit before everybody was like going green and everything to an extent, but he was like real big on geothermal energy, which is basically like you just run some water deep enough into the earth where the earth will naturally heat this water up to steam, and then you have turbines that will, turn the turbines and then create energy. I was like, man, that fucking sounds great.
Makes sense.
Fucking do that shit.
Let's go.
Fucking yeah, let's do that shit.
Sign me up.
and then just have everything, fuck a gas line, just everything's electric. Then you have a supernatural source, because the whole idea, geothermal energy, goes down, creates steam. Steam comes back up into the atmosphere, naturally gets absorbed back into the atmosphere, and then everything's fine. Like, I was like, fuck, man. I was like, that's it. That's the answer.
Like, we're on this earth. There has to be something that is supernatural for us to sustain a large amount of population. That would probably be one of them.
Yeah.
That would be one of them.
Yeah. You never hear people talk about geothermal energy
no, you don't.
anymore.
No.
What was that, like, fuck, man, like 07? 06?
But
I fucking heard about that for the first time.
There has to be mainstream scientists, ones that you like, that probably are against
an engineer.
it.
Yeah, well, of course.
And they're saying, no, that's not good for business. That's not good at all.
Yeah, but no.
What's wrong with free, man?
Yeah.
What's wrong with free? That's the biggest thing. Geothermal is probably free, or it's pretty damn close to it, or it's very cost efficient.
I'm surprised the company hasn't come out with something yet to where they're like, hey, we'll eliminate your gas bill because you won't need gas anymore in your house. And it's super simple. We come in and replace it, and then fucking boom, here you go. Just strictly electric kind of thing. Just refine it a little bit, simplify it. I feel like it's too complicated with having two separate electric and gas, for shit. Just refine it. Just make it electric, which is obviously way more.
It's never that easy.
Well, we need to be on that path. Like there has to be that transition. We just can't keep using gas unless gas is just like super accessible for some reason and super renewable, and there's no harm in it whatsoever. Isn't that where monoxide comes from? Because of the gas?
Yeah.
The gas in your house that can fucking kill you and you don't even know about it. Like just eliminate that too. There's all kinds of benefits to that. Fucking Spire my bill's gonna skyrocket. Somebody, and that's the name of the in Missouri. I don't know how it is, but it's Spire is the gas company in Missouri. But
KCP&L switched to Evergy.
Evergy?
That's what they're going to, yeah. Evergy.
To like what does that mean?
They're going to be called Evergy
instead of KCP&L.
Yeah, they combined as well.
Everything's gonna be owned by a singularity in the end, man, and it will be run by not a corporation, but just an AI.
Yeah,
an AI.
And his name is Dan.
What was the fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I've never seen that.
Dude,
movie.
you need to watch it. You need to watch that movie. It's groundbreaking. I'm big on Stanley Kubrick.
It used to be
Stanley
on Netflix.
Kubrick's the best director ever. Yeah.
They took it off.
Yeah, they do that. They only contract shit for certain long, and then it goes away. The Office went away. I was sad about that. Yeah.
They finally took it off?
Yeah. Well, no, it's in October. I think it's still on. I think it goes away in October.
So we can still record it. I think we own all
Possibly.
of them.
I like to own things physically anyway. Yeah. Not, once again, don't rely on technology so much. Even though DVDs and, like if shit goes awry, fucking all the shit goes away, I can still fucking plug in my Xbox to a generator, plug in my TV to a fucking generator, and then fucking, watch Rick and Morty. Because it's the DVDs I have right now. On my 4K TV, so it'll look like shit, but... but, yeah.
I think when it comes to utilities, I'm right there with you, man. And the thing that frustrates me the most is I just was, like, curious on how much, like, people who own these places, and whether or not they own it or not, how much they're actually making being involved with these utility companies. And come to find out, there are people out there that are making millions of dollars working for these utility companies. And it's a utility company. It's something that everyone uses. So why, in any shape or form, should they get paid millions of dollars?
Well, what about the workers and the people that maintain it? They should obviously make money because that's detrimental to to society.
They need to get paid.
They do need to get paid.
Yeah, they need to get paid. But you shouldn't have a CEO or anyone like that getting an incentive for an $18.8 million for 1 year.
Shout out to all. So much love to all the linemen that come out in Kansas City during horrible fucking winters, out there in the fucking cold, making sure people get fucking power back on to fucking heat their houses and fucking stay alive. Like you're a lifeline. You're a lifeline. Much love to you guys.
And that's
the workers that keep the grid up.
And here it is, man. Like I said, there's literally a chick out in fucking California. She makes almost close to $20 million in a year working for a fucking utility company. when we have allegedly one of the worst infrastructure utility countries in the world. Our water's behind, our fucking electricity's behind, and our fucking gas is behind. They say our infrastructure is so vulnerable. Why aren't we fixing it? Because we're paying these people massive amounts of money while they sit it in
like up top. You're talking about like up top.
Yeah, dude.
You find that problem is like trending amongst pretty much
it's all about
everything that you find.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Fuck. Yes, I like to collect millions, but at the same time, I would love to. If I had that kind of money, I would want the United States to progress, and I'd be a very progressive person when it comes to infrastructure. That's the biggest thing. Like that's the future. I want my daughter to be able to fucking have the latest water technology, the latest electrical technology for the house, the cheapest, most efficient way to do things.
Yeah.
We're not heading in that direction.
And it's not like that money is just going to, dissipate and fucking be gone and not somehow make it into the pockets of other people in a different way. You're just saying the distribution's just a little wrong.
Oh, it's very wrong. So. We could handle hurricanes differently if we actually spent money wisely in... Hey, we live in the Louisianas, or hey, we live close to, or we live in North or South Carolina. There's a potential that a hurricane could hit, and by golly, whoever says that, it could be catastrophic.
By golly.
It could maybe
by
drop.
Golly, Miss Molly.
Yeah. It could drop 20 inches of rain, or it could be a Category 1 and drop 20 inches of rain. Why are we not prepared for stuff like that? We're in 2018, and we're not prepared for hurricanes. That, to me, makes absolute no sense. But yet, Elon Musk can shoot a fucking rocket into space and then land 2 of the thruster rockets right back down under Earth. But we can't handle a hurricane. I know that's a big difference. But we should be closer. And I think we could be closer.
No, you're right. Just because the resources are there. The help should be, should be there. And the... Hopefully, what happens is there is a progression, and after like a rebuild happens, they're more savvy when it comes to the whole thing.
When new houses go up in Missouri, are they prepared to hit? Are they ready for an EF3 tornado?
Fuck no.
Why are they not?
Throw them
Why would you
bitches
not?
up, man.
Exactly.
Throw them bitches up.
No, they need to fucking be more concerned about that kind of shit.
Because the money that's going to the insurance company, they make more money than what they have to spend on fucking payouts anyway.
It's just bullshit, man.
Always.
Fuck, it always comes down to this same old motherfucking
always comes
shit.
down to money.
Yeah, money.
So weird. Such an empty, just, number somewhere on a circuit board.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is there will be another day. And until that day happens where there is no longer a day, none of it will matter. But for the foreseeable future, there will be days upon days. So why not get better for each day?
Yeah, there you go. Try to make the best out of each one. And no matter how dark, I understand some of the conversation is dark, but there is a lot of beauty in life too and stuff. So
yeah, banging.
I want to end on a negative note or anything.
Yeah, banging.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Do what you love doing. You can't be worried about, all the negative shit and gas bills and fucking all that. You still have to, enjoy life. Don't spend life just worried about everything all the time. We'll find a way. I have faith in humanity. I do. I really do. I have faith in humanity.
I don't.
You don't? I do.
We lost like 10 to 12,000 years ago, whether it be an asteroid or whatever happened. I think we're going to lose again.
I still have faith in humanity, guys.
Well, odds are if there's another cataclysmic event on the Earth and it wipes out 99% of the population, we're going to end up in the same position 10,000 more years from now.
Fucking asteroid coming in, we're just going to Patty Mahomes, be like, hey, man, need you to bust this motherfucker up real quick.
Yes.
Here's the pigskin. Just toss him the pigskin, be like, you can handle this.
Fucking asteroid coming in, Patty just throws a bullet right at the fucking asteroid. Explodes.
Everybody outside of Kansas City right now, Patrick Mahomes is the Superman right now to us. So
he's truth.
Yeah, he's truth.
All right, hit that subscribe button, hit the fucking ring bell.
I haven't been saying the sign off. Stay flying, ring the bell.
You haven't.
We still feeling that?
Yeah, 100%.
Man, motherfucker, stay flying, ring the bell. Leave us some shit that you want us to talk about. We will talk about it. We will show you love back. We have hey, you want to tell them about the stuff that you in the works at all? You want to announce that at all? You want to leave that for another time?
Not until it's confirmed.
Okay, fair enough. For another time. There's stuff in progress though, guys. Who will say that?
Yeah.
This isn't a stagnant channel. We're growing. We're developing on all fronts, man. On all fronts, stuff is happening. This is an exciting channel to be listening to. Those of you that have been listening to us, you're ground floor motherfuckers. You get to see some beautiful shit, some magical shit happen.
Yes.
It's coming, guys. It's coming.
It is. Talk Junkies out.